Hello, everyone. If this is your first time with us, we're really glad you're here. And if you've been listening for a while, welcome back. Before we start, take a second to subscribe to the channel and like this episode, because it really helps us reach more English learners who need calm, real conversations like this.
Yes, thank you for being here with us today. We know your time matters, and we appreciate that you chose to spend a part of your day listening and practicing English with us.
Today's topic is personal for both of us because we've both fallen into something we call emotional shopping. It's when you buy things not because you really need them, but because you're sad, bored, stressed, or trying to feel a little better about life.
It's funny because if someone asked me a few years ago, why do you shop? I would say, I buy things because I need them. But that was not completely true. Sometimes I bought something because my week felt heavy and I wanted a reward. Sometimes I was lonely in my apartment and the shopping app became my friend.
Or sometimes you're tired after work and you don't want to cook or think or face the day, so you scroll through new shoes, new gadgets, new clothes, and for a moment it feels like you're taking care of yourself. The problem is that moment ends fast and the bill arrives quietly later.
There's also that strange feeling when you click Pay Now. It feels exciting for 1 second, like a mini firework in your brain. But the excitement doesn't last long, and soon the package arrives and it goes into your closet or on your shelf, and your life didn't really change.
I think that's why people sometimes feel disappointed after shopping, not because the item is bad, but because we secretly hoped it would fix something inside us. We hoped buying something new would make us feel more confident, or more stylish, or more loved, or more successful. And of course, an object can't do that job. That's too much pressure for a sweater.
Yes, objects are terrible therapists. They can't heal loneliness, they can't replace connection, and they can't give you real confidence. They can give you color and comfort, but not identity.
What makes emotional shopping tricky is that it's not about stupidity. It's not about people being weak or silly. It's about being human. The modern world has learned exactly how to play with our emotions. Ads talk to our fears, our insecurities, our boredom, our dreams, our need to belong. And they whisper, if you just buy this one thing, you'll feel better.
I remember one night after a long week, I opened a shopping app just to check something for 2 minutes. I wasn't looking for anything special. I wasn't even thinking. I just wanted to relax. After 10 minutes, there were 5 things in my cart: socks, headphones, a lamp, a notebook, and a new phone case. None of those things were part of my plan for that month. I didn't need them. I was just tired, and tired me is very generous with money.
My personal trigger was boredom. On Saturdays, if I stayed home and didn't make plans, I would start online window shopping. I told myself I'm just looking, but looking became clicking, and clicking became buying, and then I had 3 new cups. By the way, I already had cups.
I had a phase when I kept buying notebooks. I don't know why. Something about the clean pages made me think I would become a new person who wakes up early, writes poetry, and organizes his life. But I barely wrote anything.
Oh, notebooks are so emotional. They hold dreams we never started.
They really do, and most of them stayed empty watching me from a shelf, and every time I walked past them, I didn't feel pleasure, I felt guilt.
That's the quiet pain of emotional shopping. We buy to feel good, and then we feel bad, because clutter reminds us of the version of ourselves we wanted to become, but never did.
So if you're listening today and thinking, wait, I do that, you're not alone. A lot of people are stuck in buy-to-feel mode. We buy for comfort, for excitement, for status, for identity, for boredom, for loneliness, for escape. And that's not a shameful thing, it's a human thing.
Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about why emotional shopping is so powerful and so hard to stop. We're going to share 10 minimalist rules that helped us step out of that emotional loop and step into a calmer life. These rules are simple, gentle, and realistic. You don't have to throw away everything you own and live with one cup. We're not against stuff. We're against buying things that steal your peace.
And at the end, we'll collect some vocabulary, explain it, and help it stay in your English so you can speak about money, shopping, and emotions in a clear and confident way.
And the whole episode will stay friendly for B1 learners, so if you're intermediate, you'll follow easily, and if you're a strong beginner, don't worry. Just listen, relax, and catch what you can. Learning doesn't need to be stressful. Let the English flow into your ears without fighting every word.
And we'd love to read your thoughts after you listen. Even one sentence in the comments is great. Tell us what you buy when you're bored, or what your shopping trigger is. It's so interesting how different people have different triggers.
All right, let's get started. Here's the big question. Why do we get pulled into emotional shopping in the first place?
Because it's not really about objects, it's about feelings.
Yes, emotional shopping is not about needing things, it's about needing feelings, and companies understood this a long time ago.
Let's name a few quiet reasons, without blaming ourselves, just to see clearly.
Reason 1, shopping gives a small emotional high, a tiny spark of pleasure, a little hit of I did something.
Even if the thing is small, even if it's socks, it gives the brain a little jump of dopamine. Your brain loves that excitement because it breaks the boring routine.
And companies know that, so they make new collections and new releases every week. They want you to feel like, oh, I must check what's new, even when you don't need anything.
Reason 2, we use shopping as comfort. We use it like chocolate or movies, something soft to escape stress.
When you're tired, lonely, or sad, you don't want to fight with yourself. You want something quick and kind. Shopping feels like self-care for a minute. The problem is that it doesn't fix the feeling that started it.
And reason 3, we compare. We want to belong. We want to feel good enough. And buying becomes a tool to show others and ourselves that we're okay.
Emotional shopping is strong because it gives us many pleasure, comfort, and social belonging all at the same time. That's a lot for a pair of shoes to do.
But the good news is we're not powerless. We can step out without being miserable or extreme. We just need small rules that protect our money, our space, and our hearts.
And that's what we'll share next. 10 minimalist rules for 2026 you can actually use in real life without becoming a monk.
Let's begin.
Rule 1. Notice the feeling behind the desire. Before you buy something, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? It sounds so simple, but it opened my eyes in a big way.
I remember the first time I tried this rule. I wanted to buy new headphones, not the cheap ones, the nice ones. I opened the shopping app and I could feel that familiar excitement, but I paused and asked myself, what am I actually feeling? And the answer was not, I need headphones. The answer was, I'm frustrated because work was stressful and I want to feel in control.
And headphones can't fix that feeling, no matter how expensive they are. They can only fix silence.
Right. The funny thing is, I didn't need silence. I needed rest and a hug. Headphones don't hug you, at least not yet.
When I tried the rule, I discovered boredom was my trigger. I would open my phone and scroll through shopping apps like it was entertainment. I wasn't looking for objects, I was looking for stimulation, something to wake up my brain.
Most people never ask that tiny question, what feeling is pushing this desire? Without that question, we assume the desire is for the object, but often the desire is for a feeling like comfort, excitement, pleasure, validation, or reward.
When you name the feeling, the desire loses some of its power. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what's actually happening.
There was a moment when I realized that a lot of my shopping was emotional self-soothing. I wasn't buying shoes, I was buying a tiny moment of relief. I wasn't buying new clothes, I was buying the feeling of being a better version of myself. But objects can't give you identity, they can only decorate it.
And when you notice the feeling, you can choose a different solution. If you're tired, maybe you rest. If you're lonely, maybe you message a friend. If you're bored, maybe you go outside for a small walk. Suddenly, the item doesn't feel so magical.
I like this rule because it doesn't say don't buy things. It just says don't let the object do a job it cannot do. That is a much kinder and more realistic approach.
And when you apply it regularly, you start understanding your emotional patterns, which is a kind of freedom.
Okay, rule 2. Don't shop when your mood is low. This one saved my wallet many times. When your feelings are heavy, your brain will look for quick comfort, and shopping is one of the fastest comfort buttons.
Yes, because buying feels like action. It feels like progress. It gives you a tiny sense of control when everything else feels messy or slow.
I had a week once where everything felt stressful. Work problems, family tension, and I couldn't sleep well. On Friday night, I sat on my bed and thought, I need something for myself. I opened the app, and 20 minutes later, I had ordered 3 shirts, a backpack, and 2 random kitchen tools. When the packages arrived, the excitement was already gone, and I felt disappointed, not because the items were bad, but because they didn't give me the comfort I was looking for.
I had a similar pattern, but with Sunday evenings. I used to call it Sunday sadness shopping. I didn't want Monday to come, so I tried to distract myself with cute things. Candles, cups, little decorations, stationery. And the packages arrived on Wednesday when I didn't feel sad anymore. They felt like strangers.
That's such a strong observation. The object felt meaningful only when you were sad. When the sadness left, the object lost its job.
And the sad part is the object never really solved the sadness, because sadness needs rest, connection, or understanding. A candle can smell good, but it can't replace emotional support.
So now my rule is simple. If my mood is low, I don't shop. I wait until I feel neutral or good. If I still want the item when my mood is healthy, then the desire is real. If I don't want it anymore, the desire was just emotional smoke.
This rule is realistic. It doesn't punish you, it just protects you from temporary feelings. Feelings move, objects stay.
Rule 3. Talk it out instead of check it out. This one is a little funny but powerful. When you feel the urge to shop, instead of opening the shopping app or the mall website, you talk to someone about the desire.
Yes, like, hey, I really want this thing right now, and I don't know why. It sounds silly, but the moment you say it out loud, it becomes smaller and less magical.
Last month, I wanted to buy a new jacket. I didn't need a jacket. I had jackets. But in my mind, the new jacket symbolized confidence. Like if I wore that jacket, I would feel like a cooler version of myself. I told Anna about it.
And I asked him, do you want the jacket or do you want the feeling of being more confident? And he paused for a long time.
And I realized it was the feeling. I didn't want a jacket. I wanted confidence in social situations. A jacket cannot give you confidence. It can give you fabric. Confidence comes from experience, social skills, self-kindness, and practice. Fabric helps with warmth.
The moment you talk about it, you slow down. You breathe. You see the real desire hidden under the object. Sometimes when I talk to friends, I say, I want to buy this thing right now, and I don't know if it's my heart or my boredom talking. And we laugh, and then I lose the urge.
The funny thing is, emotional desires are often loud in the mind, but quiet in the mouth. When you say them out loud, they lose intensity. They become normal, understandable, and easier to handle.
Talking about it also gives you connection, and connection is one of the things emotional shopping tries to imitate. When you feel understood, the shopping app suddenly doesn't feel so attractive.
So the first 3 rules help you slow down and look inside before you spend outside. They create a gap between feeling and action, and that gap is where freedom starts.
Rule 4. Give your desire time. Emotional shopping is fast. It wants now. It wants the click. It wants the rush. But desire is like a balloon. If you hold it for a little while, the air slowly goes out and the shape changes.
That's why waiting works. Not waiting forever, just waiting enough for your emotions to calm down and your brain to come back online. I started a habit where I put everything I want into a wish list. I write the name, the price, and one honest reason why I want it. Then I wait at least a week.
And what happens after a week?
Half of the items become uninteresting or even strange. I look at them and think, why did I want that? Or, I don't even like this color. The ones that stay after a week feel more real. They don't come from stress or boredom. They come from usefulness or true interest.
I have a similar habit, but I call it sleeping on it. If I want something, I don't buy the same night. I sleep, and the next morning, the excitement usually disappears like a dream. But if I still think about the item after a few days, then it's probably something I will use.
The interesting part is that waiting removes the emotional noise from shopping. When the noise is gone, the desire becomes clear. If the desire was emotional, it dies. If the desire was practical, it survives.
Sometimes I even forget what I wanted, and that shows how temporary the feeling was. Imagine if we bought everything we wanted for 5 minutes. Our homes would explode.
And our wallets would cry quietly in the corner.
Rule 5. Replace emotional shopping with emotional care. If we shop to feel better, we have to learn other ways to feel better. You can't remove a habit without replacing it with something else. The brain hates empty space.
I discovered that I shop when I feel lonely at night, so I made a small list of things that help with loneliness. Voice messages to friends, reading a book I enjoy, watching a movie that makes me feel calm, or cooking something warm. When I choose those things, I don't need the shopping cart anymore.
For me, it was anxiety. When I felt anxious, I bought things to create the illusion of control. So I made a list of things that actually calm me. Stretching, journaling, cleaning my desk, listening to music, or going for a 20-minute walk. It doesn't fix anxiety forever, but it gives my mind something healthy.
This rule can be playful too. If you shop because you're bored, make a boredom menu. If you shop because you're sad, make a sadness menu. If you shop because you're stressed, make a stress menu. When you feel the trigger, you pick from the menu instead of from the shopping app.
And the best part is emotional care gives you the feeling you were chasing. Shopping only gives the illusion of that feeling. For example, buying candles is not the same as feeling cozy. Real coziness comes from warmth, rest, or company. Candles are just decoration for that feeling.
Rule 6. Reduce shopping environments. This one changed everything for me. If you put a person who wants to eat healthier inside a bakery, they will struggle, not because they're weak, but because the environment is loud and tempting. Shopping works the same way.
I used to scroll through fashion reels every night. I didn't think I was shopping. I thought I was just watching. But after 10 minutes, I wanted something new. After 20 minutes, I wanted 5 things. After 30 minutes, I felt like my wardrobe was not enough. My clothes hadn't changed. My mood had. I had a similar experience with home decoration videos. I watched beautiful houses with amazing kitchens, candles everywhere, and matching cups, and suddenly my own house felt boring. Nothing was wrong with my house, but comparison can make even a good life feel cheap.
So I reduced exposure. I unfollowed accounts that triggered desire without purpose. I stopped using shopping apps to relax. I replaced them with music, books, and podcasts. My desire to buy didn't disappear. It became smaller and more quiet.
When you change the environment, the habit loses power, not because you suddenly have more discipline, but because there are fewer emotional invitations to buy.
And that's important. Emotional shopping doesn't start with buying. It starts with seeing.
Yes, seeing creates wanting. Wanting creates craving. Craving creates buying. If you change what you see, you change what you want. And that's a peaceful form of minimalism.
So far, we learned how to notice our emotional triggers, how to slow down desire, and how to create other solutions for our feelings. The next rules will help us build a new lifestyle that supports calm instead of constant wanting.
Rule 7. Don't buy to impress. This one is uncomfortable because many of us do it quietly, without admitting it even to ourselves. We buy things not for who we are, but for who we want others to think we are.
Remember this clearly in my early 20s. I bought a fancy watch. I had never cared about watches in my life. I didn't know about brands or materials, but suddenly, one day, I felt like having that watch would make me look more mature, more successful, more interesting. When I wore it, people did notice it, but the funny thing was, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was wearing a costume.
That's such a common trap. We buy labels to prove a point. We buy clothes for attention. We buy gadgets to appear smart. We buy beauty products to appear put together. Meanwhile, our real selves are standing quietly behind all of that, waiting to be loved without the performance.
And the worst part is, impressing people is expensive. It's one of the most expensive hobbies in the world, and you don't even get a medal for it.
I think a lot of emotional shopping comes from fear. Fear of being judged, fear of looking poor, fear of not fitting in. But here's the thing. The people who truly love you don't care about the brand on your shoes. They care about the kindness in your words and the softness in your presence.
I wish someone had told me that earlier, because when I finally stopped trying to impress, my style became simpler and more honest. I bought things because I liked them, not because I thought they would change how others saw me.
Rule 8. Buy for your real life, not for your fantasy life. Many people shop for the person they wish they could be. This creates some very funny closets around the world. Closets full of gym clothes for the fitness version of you, but you don't go to the gym. Closets full of elegant dresses for all the classy parties you never attend. Closets full of books for the academic version of you who reads 20 hours a week, but you barely finish one chapter a month.
Let me confess something. I had hiking shoes. High quality, expensive, professional hiking shoes. The only problem was, I don't hike. I kept them for 3 years. 3 years! Waiting for the hiking version of me to show up. He never arrived. The shoes just stared at me like silent expectations.
I have something similar. I kept buying fancy planners and notebooks because I imagined myself waking up at 6, drinking tea while writing poetic dreams and deep thoughts. In reality, I woke up at 8, rushed to work, and wrote grocery lists in the corner of the page. The fantasy version of me was very romantic. The real version of me was just hungry and late.
There is nothing wrong with having dreams, but objects cannot create habits for you. Buying a yoga mat does not make you a healthy person. Buying a camera does not make you an artist. Buying a cookbook does not make you a chef. Skills come from doing. Objects only help once the habit exists.
So now, when I shop, I ask, am I buying this for my real life or my fantasy life? If the answer is fantasy, I wait. That one question saved me so much money and so much silent guilt.
Rule 9. Learn to make do. This is one of the most beautiful minimalist skills. Making do means using what you have, even if it's not perfect, instead of constantly upgrading or replacing. For example, I wanted a new dining table for months. Not because my old table was broken or uncomfortable, but because I saw videos of beautiful homes and suddenly mine felt plain. Instead of buying a new table, I cleaned the old one, changed the placement, and added a small plant. Suddenly, it felt fresh again.
I had a similar moment with a vase. I saw a very elegant ceramic vase online. It was simple, white, and expensive. The kind of vase that influencers put flowers in, and then suddenly their whole home feels like a museum. I almost bought it. Then I looked around and saw a glass jar in my kitchen. I cleaned it, put water and flowers in it, and placed it on my table. And I laughed because it gave me the same feeling I was searching for, that tiny feeling of beauty without spending anything.
Making do is not about suffering. It's about creativity. It's about learning that enough is already around you, waiting for a second chance to shine.
It also teaches gratitude. When you make do, you stop seeing your home as a problem and start seeing it as support.
And now the last rule. Rule 10. Don't buy what you can't pay for today. This is a powerful boundary. Emotional shopping loves debt because debt gives you permission to feel good now and worry later. But later you pay with interest, stress, and regret.
I used to use buy now, pay later for small things like shoes or makeup. It felt harmless because the monthly payments were tiny, but small payments become big chains if you collect them enough. My favorite part was always the first 10 minutes after buying. My least favorite part was the next 3 months.
Debt steals from future you. It steals future peace, future savings, future space in your mind. When I stopped buying things I couldn't afford that moment, emotional shopping slowed down naturally, because if you must pay now, you ask yourself harder questions.
And those questions are healthy. They make you honest. They make you romantic, not with objects, but with reality. And reality is where peace happens.
When you put all these rules together, emotional shopping loses some of its mystery. It becomes clear. You see that you don't actually want more things. You want more feelings. Feelings like calm, confidence, connection, rest, belonging, purpose, and joy.
And objects can add some flavor to life, but they can't feed life. The real meal comes from experiences, people, skills, and time well spent.
Before we say goodbye, let's slow down and collect some vocabulary we use today so these words can stay in your English. Learning new words works best when they connect to real stories and emotions, not just flashcards. So take your time and enjoy them.
First word, impulse. An impulse is a sudden push from inside you. It makes you do something quickly without thinking too much. For example, when I bought the headphones without planning, that was an impulse. Or she ate chocolate on impulse because she was stressed. Impulse is the spark before impulse buying.
Next phrase, emotional shopping. Emotional shopping means buying things because of feelings, not because of real needs. For example, I bought mugs because I was bored. That was emotional shopping. Or he shops when he feels lonely. That's emotional shopping. The objects are not the main point. The emotion is.
Next phrase, make do. Make do means using what you have instead of buying something new. For example, we made do with our old table and it still felt fine. Or she made do with her phone instead of upgrading. Make do is a peaceful skill, like telling your brain that enough is already here.
Next phrase, talk it out. Talk it out means to speak about your thoughts or feelings with someone. It helps you understand yourself better and feel less stressed. For example, I talked it out with my friend instead of buying something. Or he talked it out and realized he didn't need new shoes. Talking it out releases pressure from inside your mind.
Next phrase, fantasy life. Your fantasy life is the version of you that lives in your imagination, not in your real day-to-day life. For example, buying hiking shoes for the hiking version of you is buying for your fantasy life. Or she bought the elegant dress for her fantasy life but never used it. Fantasy life is charming but expensive.
Next word, clutter. Clutter means too many things in your space, especially things you don't use. For example, my closet was full of clutter. Or clutter made her room feel noisy. Clutter creates stress and covers up peace.
Next phrase, pay later. Pay later means buying something now and paying for it in the future. For example, he used pay later for the shoes, or she didn't want to pay later because it stressed her. Pay later makes emotional shopping easier because it hides the cost behind time.
Next phrase, live within your means. This means spending less or equal to what you earn so your money stays healthy. For example, they lived within their means and saved money. Or he struggled to live within his means because of shopping apps. Living within your means protects your future.
Last phrase, peace of mind. Peace of mind means a calm feeling when things are okay, safe, and under control. Not perfect, just okay. For example, having no shopping debt gave her peace of mind, or he chose a smaller lifestyle for peace of mind. This is the real goal behind minimalism.
And you don't need to remember all of these today. Just choose 2 or 3 that you like and try to use them this week in your real life or messages. The brain learns through small repetition, not pressure.
And you don't need to become a perfect minimalist. You just need to become more aware. Awareness is powerful. When you know what you're feeling, you don't need to fight yourself. You just need to choose gently.
So here's your tiny homework for this week. Before you buy something, ask yourself one small question. Am I buying this object or am I buying a feeling? That one question alone can change the whole month.
And if you want, tell us in the comments what emotion makes you shop the most. Is it boredom, stress, comparison, loneliness? It's always interesting to see how different people use shopping as emotional language. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Time is the most expensive thing we have, and we're grateful you shared yours with us.
This is Mike.
This is Anna.
And you've been listening to Speak English Daily. We'll see you in the next episode.